whiskey is still the one thing that I think if people, especially from a tourism standpoint, if people are going to visit a distillery, that's the thing that they're kind of most curious about, right?
Spirits trends that you guys see in 2024, and to make it a little deeper and fun, I don't want the typical agave, mezcal, RTD, or no alcohol or low alcohol 4 things in it. So apart from those 4, what other categories or opportunities that you see the consumers are trading in, which distillers can sort of look into or make new products or start offering that flavor profiles? Like what are you seeing? It can be state specific as well.
Yeah, you took agave out of there, but we're actually seeing a lot of people asking for straight up tequila, but there's the quandary there of obviously not being locally made. But some of the other things I've been seeing, at least in the past 6 months, is people inquiring about peated bourbons and other smoked whiskeys, not necessarily in the form of single malts or scotch. So that's something that we've seen a lot of discussion about.
And what are you seeing, Aaron, in terms of like consumer interest or inquiries, to your group?
Yeah, we're having a lot of people asking for tequila and agave spirits, of course. And I know in California there's an effort to actually start growing agave here, to lean in more into agave spirits. So that's obviously a trend. I mean, you said you don't want me to talk about seltzers and RTDs. I actually think that those are actually going to be out of style in the next year or two. I'm super bearish on RTDs. I think people are going to realize in the next year or two that they don't really have any soul, to put it in one way. So I think those are going to go down. I'm seeing a lot of people want American single malt, to kind of echo what John has said. I think people are starting to realize that single malt isn't just Scotch, that there's some pretty cool American styles coming out. And surprisingly, it seems like liqueurs are starting to trend, not just Amaros, but like sweet liqueurs, like orange liqueurs and coffee liqueurs and things like that.
Yeah, David?
Yeah, so like all of you have addressed, and Sid, you took the big players off the table. So I'll echo everybody else's comments about RTDs and tequilas. But moving past those items, we're in Florida, and despite what everybody thinks about vodka being still the #1 sold and consumed spirit in the United States, and tequila's on the rise, whiskey is our biggest ask. I mean, people come in here, we make vodkas, whiskeys, gins, liqueurs, everything, but whiskey is still the one thing that I think if people, especially from a tourism standpoint, if people are going to visit a distillery, that's the thing that they're kind of most curious about, right? It's still the sexy item. It has, comes out of barrels, and it's what people associate with American spirit. So really, more than anything, from a consumer and tourism standpoint, we see whiskeys. Obviously, bourbon is the top of that list because it's the most well known. And surprisingly, we don't. I mean, there are the narrow channels of quote unquote whiskey nerds, and I say that with affection. We don't get a lot of that specific channel, right? It's more of the gross popularity of just, brown water, so to speak, in general. And then a very close second to that would be rums. And again, I think these are very, very geographical items. I mean, you being in Florida in the South, and you play up on those ideals.